The supermarket was unusually crowded that afternoon. The buzz of chatter, the beeping of scanners, and the rhythmic thud of shopping carts filled the air. It was payday for most, but not for everyone. In line 6 stood Maggie Turner, a young mother in her early 30s holding her little boy Eli by the hand. Her clothes were clean but old, and her eyes showed the quiet exhaustion of someone who hadn't rested properly in years. Eli clutched a small box of cereal, smiling proudly. "Mom, it's the one with the superhero on it." Maggie smiled faintly. "Yes, baby, you've earned it." As the line moved slowly, she reached into her worn leather purse and began sorting through handfuls of coins. Quarters, nickels, dimes, and a few crumpled dollar bills. Behind her, 2 young women whispered, "Oh my God, she's really going to pay with coins," one of them muttered, rolling her eyes. "Maybe she's buying the whole store like that," the other joked, loud enough for Maggie to hear. Maggie's cheeks turned red. She tried to ignore them, her hands trembling slightly as she counted. The cashier, Lisa, a girl in her 20s with glossy hair and an impatient expression, sighed as she saw the pile of coins. "Ma'am, do you realize how long this is going to take?" "I'm sorry," Maggie said softly. "It's all I have today." Lisa began scanning the items quickly, her tone sharp. "Next time, maybe try using a card like everyone else." The people in line began to groan. One man muttered, "Some people shouldn't shop during rush hour." Eli looked up at his mother, confused. "Mommy, why are they mad?" Maggie forced a smile. "It's okay, sweetheart, we're almost done." Lisa dumped the coins onto the counter with exaggerated annoyance. "You know, we have machines for this kind of thing," she said, smirking. Maggie's voice was quiet but firm. "I know. I just didn't have time." Then something fell from Maggie's purse, a folded paper, stained and worn. It fluttered to the ground, landing near Lisa's feet. Lisa bent down and picked it up. It was an invoice from the local hospital dated 2 months ago. Her eyes skimmed the words, "Pediatric Oncology Department, Patient Eli Turner." Her hands froze. The room seemed to go silent. She looked up at Maggie, who was now holding her son's hand tighter than before. Eli coughed softly, his skin pale beneath his freckles. "Mom, can we go home soon? I'm tired." Maggie smiled at him, brushing a strand of hair from his forehead. "Yes, baby, just a few more minutes." The realization hit Lisa like a wave. This wasn't just a woman paying in coins. This was a mother doing everything she could to keep her child alive. Lisa's throat tightened. She glanced at the total, $24.36. Quietly, she reached into her own pocket, slipped a $20 bill into the register, and pretended to count the last few coins. "There," Lisa said softly. "You're all set." Maggie blinked. "But I don't think that's enough." "It's fine," Lisa interrupted gently. "You gave me exactly what you needed." Maggie stared at her for a moment, eyes wide, realizing what the cashier had done. "Thank you," she whispered. "You don't know what this means." Lisa smiled weakly. "I think I do." As Maggie walked out, holding Eli's hand and their small bag of groceries, the 2 women who had mocked her earlier stood in silence. The laughter that had filled the air moments ago was gone, replaced by shame. Lisa stood frozen at her register, staring at the hospital paper still in her hand. She folded it carefully and placed it in her pocket. That night, she couldn't sleep. The image of the mother and her son haunted her. She realized she had judged someone without knowing the story behind her struggle. The next morning, Lisa went to her manager and explained everything. "I want to start a donation jar," she said, "for families like hers." The manager, surprised, nodded. "If that's what you want, go for it." Lisa printed a small sign and taped it to a glass jar. "Every coin counts. Help a local family in need." At first, only a few customers contributed. Then word spread. The jar filled faster than anyone expected. A few weeks later, Maggie returned to the store. She looked stronger, still tired but smiling. Lisa spotted her immediately. "Hey," she said warmly, "how's Eli doing?" Maggie's eyes lit up. "Better, he's responding to treatment. We just had some good news from the doctor." Lisa felt her heart swell. That's amazing. Maggie reached into her purse and placed a few coins into the jar. I saw the sign last time. I wanted to give back. Lisa blinked, speechless. You don't have to. I know, Maggie interrupted softly. But kindness deserves to be passed on. Eli, holding his cereal box, grinned. That's what superheroes do, right? Lisa laughed through tears. Yes, Eli, that's exactly what superheroes do. Over time, the donation jar became a permanent fixture in the store. The community began rallying around struggling families, inspired by a mother who once paid in coins. Months later, Lisa received a letter in the mail. The handwriting was neat but familiar. Dear Lisa, you didn't just help us buy groceries that day. You gave me hope. Eli's in remission now. We're both doing better. Thank you for seeing us when no one else did. Lisa smiled, tears rolling down her cheeks. She pinned the letter beside her register, a reminder that empathy costs nothing, but means everything. From that day forward, whenever someone paid in coins, she treated them differently. With patience, with respect, with heart. Because she had learned that behind every handful of change, there's a story. And sometimes those stories remind us that kindness can start with just a few cents and end up changing a life. So if you're rewatching this right now, remember, the smallest act of compassion can ripple further than you will ever see. Never judge, never rush, and never underestimate the power of being kind. If this story touched your heart, drop a in the comments and tell us what you felt. Share this video with someone who believes in kindness. And Donati, forget to subscribe for more emotional stories that remind us what it means to be human. Because here, at Rewind Reality, every story has a heartbeat.